Shields up, Paladins. Welcome to a For Honor Hero Guide. As you can tell by the title of this video, I will be talking to you all about the Peacekeeper and how I like to use this particular character. The Peacekeeper is one of the assassin characters in the Knight faction. She has a medium difficulty rating, as well as she is a fast and a counter-attacker. Her base stats are her health is set to 120, her stamina is set to 120, and her sprint speed is set to 2.83 milliseconds. With all this being said, let's go ahead and jump right on over to her feats. Her tier 1 feats are Bounty Hunter, which is a passive ability. You gain health and stamina when you kill another hero. Stealth, which is a passive ability. Hide yourself from the HUD, radar, and aim assist. And Conquer, which is a passive ability. You capture control zones faster, and the picked up boost lasts longer. Now in this particular case, I am using Stealth. The reason why I'm using Stealth really over Bounty Hunter is for the perks that I have equipped. Right now, what I'm running right now is Devour, which gives me an additional 15 health upon execution. Endurance, which is cutting my stamina cost by 3% per each tier. Plus, on top of that, I'm running Crush Them, which upon a hero kill, my next attack deals 30% more damage. This is not stacked with any of the feats, of course, but this also is what's helping me deter from using Bounty Hunter and staying on Stealth. And Conquer would be good as well if you like to run around points, pick them up, or capture points behind the enemy lines when they're not expecting it. And also, if you do pick up a damage boost or a shield buff or whatever, that will last longer. That's also a good perk as well, but I really like using Stealth. Her tier 2 feats are Fiat Lux, which is you throw a flash grenade that blinds enemies for a few seconds. Thick Skin, which is a passive ability. You gain moderate damage reduction for every 3 seconds. And Revenge Attacks, which is another passive ability. Successful attacks, when locked on, will fill the revenge meter. Now I'm using Thick Skin, so for every 3 seconds after I've been hit, I get a good amount of damage reduction, allowing me to take a couple more hits. Revenge attacks are also decent, but you gain revenge pretty decently now when getting ganked, so that just allows you to pop a tuner, and since I always play Dominion and Breach, Fiat Lux, I never really find a good time to use it, so it really just stays there as a tier 2 feat that I never really touch. So I rather use Thick Skin in this, so I know I'm getting something in return. Her tier 3 feats are Crossbow, which you fire a crossbow bolt for moderate damage. Pugno Mortis, throw an explosive that deals moderate damage to an area. And Sharpened Blade, attacks that inflict low damage over time. Sharpened Blade, in my opinion, is almost a must for the Peacekeeper due to the fact that her bleed proc stacks. So you can have a full enemy bleeding out before they even know really what hit them. If they heal over it using Second Wind, that of course will heal over some of the bleed, but not all of it. Crossbow, you can really see it coming, but as well as it can be dodged pretty easily. And on top of that, the damage, even though that they say is moderate damage, in my opinion, it's pretty lacking for how easy that crossbow can be dodged if you know it's coming. Pugno Mortis, again, can be dodged, and as a Peacekeeper, I want to bleed them out and let them freak out so they can cause them to throw an attack without even thinking, which then will allow me to follow up either with a parry or the deflect or what have you. Her tier 4 feats are Fear Itself, nearby enemies have lower defenses. Catapults, call a catapult strike to deal massive damage over an area. And Last Laugh, which is a passive ability. You drop a high damage grenade upon death unless executed. Now, Fear Itself is what I'm using on the Peacekeeper in this particular case. Even when the enemy pops Revenge while Fear Itself is active, it really nullifies the Revenge and still gives you the upper hand in each fight. On top of that, if someone does pop Revenge and you have a Black Prior next to you, they can use their ability to take away your Revenge shield. So then really they only got that damage output. But also with Fear Itself, you're pretty much killing them pretty quickly on top of that. So really it kind of balances everything out. Catapult, in my opinion, just takes way too long to be called in now, and it can be easily dodged. Last Laugh is also very good, especially if you're getting ganked and they want you to get out of there quickly. I have won many games by just throwing myself to the wolves and with them not expecting the grenade. It can be dodged if you do expect it, but more than likely they're just going to stand there and taunt on you. So whenever they do that, of course, last laugh falls. It go ahead and pops, and they just die there with you. So that's one of the things that I like to use as well. So Fear Itself and Last Laugh are my two go-to for her tier 4. So with all this being said, let's go ahead and go over right to her hero-specific moveset. Now on the screen, I did go into the hero tactics, which shows you all the combos for the Peacekeeper. So on the screen, you'll be seeing the actual combos. I'm not going to discuss those because you're going to see them up on the screen. But what I will talk about is how to get renowned and everything else like that. So, renowned, you earn more renown since you are an assassin by 1v1 fights, by killing enemy heroes, and getting kill streaks to unlock feats in a match. Revenge mode, boost damage and health. All attacks are uninterruptible. Parry and throws knock enemies down. Attacks are auto-parried upon activation. Defense Reflex. Your guard stance only remains active for a limited time, lasting only for 1 second. Deflect is deflect by dodging in the direction of an incoming attack just before impact. Deflect can be followed up by the riposting stab. The Smooth Riposte. The riposting stab has a very low recovery time, allowing the Peacekeeper to immediately perform moves and chains after the stab. Heavy Cancels. Chain heavy attacks can be cancelled during their startup with guard break, a dodge, or a dagger cancel. The Poisonous Stab. All stab attacks, deep gouge, stab, or post stab, dagger cancel, deal bleed damage. Bleed procs by Peacekeeper do stack. Stab attacks will always strike from the top. The dagger cancel. Perform a light attack during the startup of a heavy attack. During the startup or after the first strike of a zone attack to stab your foe. Dagger follow-up, deep gouge. You can perform a light attack during the recovery of a heavy attack or dodge attack to perform deep gouge, which is a guaranteed stab attack. The dagger follow-up, the time stab. The light attacks of a stab require proper timing to perform. If performed too slowly or too quickly, the inputs will not register. Compared to other timed moves, her stab timing is very lenient. Stab cancels. During a stab, you can throw an enemy. This cannot be performed once all 3 stabs have been inflicted. Zone attack. Cancel zone attack after the first attack with circle. And zone attack from guard break. Peacekeeper is able to perform a zone attack upon smoother guard breaking an opponent. So, now with all this being said, the one thing how I like to use the Peacekeeper is pretty much it's a cut and dry way I like to use her. Since I always play Dominion and Breach, with Dominion I've got stealth on, and I like to run around, capture the points. If I see someone either very low or bleeding, I'll focus them, try to get them out of there pretty quickly so I can go ahead and keep attacking them so I get that renown for that 1v1 fight, because technically that's what that would be. On top of that, I usually like to watch people bleed, so I'll keep applying all that bleed to them because her bleeding does stack. So if you're going for your stab, if you do a zone attack and just stab, or your time stab, of all of that together, plus on top of that, if you have sharpened blade, you can have the full enemy health bar just at full bleed. And at this point, they're either going to disengage with you or keep fighting you while you're attacking. So kind of keep this in mind. And that's really the best way that I like to use her. I usually like to sit there and wait. As an assassin, I don't like to sit there. I don't want to tank everything as an assassin, and that's not what I'm saying. If it's in a 1v1, I do want to go ahead, apply that bleed to them, let them kind of freak out, hit them with the deflect or a parry, go in for another bleed, and just pretty much watch them bleed out. If they do run away, of course I will chase after them by doing the lunge attack, trying to stop them to get that extra quick execution on them and keep on going with that. So that's really like how I like to use the Peacekeeper. Hopefully I answered a lot of questions, comments, concerns with this particular character, and hopefully you all enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to drop a like. That really shows a lot of support to this channel and what I particularly what I like to do on this channel. So thank you all so much, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.